Hello, everybody. Welcome back or welcome to the Sound Mind Strategies Podcast. This is your host, Evan, alongside me, my lovely wife, co-host, Anina.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Doing good.
Good. This is episode number 35.
Yes.
That means you are at week
37.
How are things?
Well, I'm having a little sciatica pain. That's a new thing.
Okay. Yeah, that just developed a couple days ago, didn't it?
It did, Friday evening. So
Okay.
That's the newest thing. But working through it, doing a lot of stretching, and gonna get a massage next week. So hopefully that'll really help get those kinks out. Had baby's appointment, and he's about 6 pounds, 6 ounces.
Well, that was more about a week ago, right?
Yeah,
Coming
last Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay, so half
a week ago or so.
4 or 5
So yeah, he's definitely getting big. She saw my eyes probably get huge when she's like, expect about a half a pound to a pound of growth for him each week. And I was like, what? And she's like, well, maybe half a pound. A pound is a lot. And I was like, yeah, I can't imagine. I'd have like a butterball.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Because you and I are not large humans by any means, rather
Right.
small. So
I was like, how is that going to
it's
happen?
gonna be a big baby. Oh boy.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any updates? Does your
Baby book have much?
baby journal have much on updates for us?
Well, the one that I will share that kind of struck me as like, what was this? The muscles at the top of your uterus supply a force comparable to the weight of 55 pounds during each contraction.
55.
I was like, 55 pounds.
That's a lot.
What? I know.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. That kind of really,
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Actually.
gave me a little scare there. No.
So for me, this is month 9, obviously week 37 in the third trimester. The word pregnant, first time dad's pregnancy handbook. Again, this thing has been really, really fun to follow along.
Yeah.
Thought I'd throw that out there. I think we picked up a lot of new subscribers this last week, and I just want to say hello and welcome to everyone. So each week we've kind of been going along and sharing little updates with Baby B and everything. So Baby B, we haven't actually landed on a name yet.
We have 3 though.
Yeah.
We've dwindled it down to 3.
We're getting close.
Progress.
So I got baby stats. Baby's growing, plumping up and dropping into the uterus. Baby is at term now, so not a lot of changes, just final growth, I think. Everything is fully developed and growing. It's just baby's putting on some weight. Mom stats, because of the baby dropping, her pelvic pain and urge to pee are prevalent.
Nope, not at all.
No, yeah.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
May notice stretch marks. I think you've been really good about like applying you have this like multi-step
concoction.
Belly rub process.
Yeah, I have, and I've heard too that like you can do that and still get them. So I think it's just probably
I think
your
it's
skin.
kind of on how fast it grows.
Yeah.
But you can definitely do a lot of things to mitigate that and ease it, right?
Right.
Yeah, because you don't really you haven't had any. So maybe your concoction works. You'll have to share that. Nesting is in full effect. And this is actually kind of funny because we are moving in a week.
Oh my gosh.
So
yeah.
You're nesting from afar, which is like, I would love to be able to see you in your new home and doing things properly, but it'll happen when it happens. So
it'll happen. Yeah.
We're living
doing it virtually in my mind.
Yeah, living on the edge, I guess. Let's see. Because baby is so close to delivery, mom may experience a surge of energy leading up to the event. What do you think about that?
Can't wait for that. That'd be awesome.
This is a neat little fact. It said only 6.4% of babies are born at week 37. Since we are like already at term, baby can come and be fine. 6.5 pounds here, and that's seems to be about accurate.
Yep.
He was a little under 6.5, but that was also almost, so probably right about there. Very, very right on track,
Yes.
right in the normals. So
Yes.
things are going really well. I do remember you noticed like during your week 36 ultrasound, they were able sonogram, whatever one, where you can see it, right?
Ultrasound. Yeah.
Whatever. Noticed that he had a lot of hair. So I thought that was pretty cool.
She did say, oh my gosh, he's got a lot of hair. I was like, oh, wow.
Let's see. House updates. We're moving. They did finally get that pushed through. We are able to close and move early, which is really, really cool. We'll have the ability to take advantage of that 3-day weekend, and had a lot of friends and family offer their backs and vehicles.
Yes.
So it's going to be fun. And then I survived my first week at the new job.
Yay.
Yeah, it was exciting. Like, so I did this new employee orientation day one, and it's supposed to be a 2-day process. And they pulled me out of that to then put me into this 3-day training. So literally on my second, third, and fourth day of the new work, I'm in a training, and I've never done so much like mindfulness and just all these fun things. Like, where am I working at again?
Yeah.
And like, it was just really cool. Like all this like introspective work and, deep reflection and sharing and opening up and like working with people and coaching and watching them make these like kind of monumental, aha moments or kind of like the beginning, a spark of change, which was really, really cool. I was able to kind of like make some good connections and meet people or put connections together of people that you have known and met, like, oh yeah. Okay. So it was a lot of fun. So I had a very good first week. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the job and the opportunity. Definitely not used to, I'm a part-timer. I mean, let's just cut to the chase. I'm a true part-timer. I like to do as much as I can in as little hours as possible.
You're very efficient. If you have that option.
They stretched me out to this full-time.
And you survived.
Schedule.
You're doing well.
Barely. I did. I'll get used to it.
You will.
Just send me energy, coffee, and prayer.
There you go.
No, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. So we're really excited to kind of dive into this topic. We can share a little bit about how we came across it a little bit, but really excited to kind of dive into this and share with you guys. So just sit back, crank up the volume on them earbuds, and enjoy the show. All right. Are you ready to dive in?
I am.
All right. You got a little bit of a story to share with us that I think that's going to kind of lay the foundation of this topic, don't you think?
Yes, right. I think so too. Yeah. So today our topic is looking at how do my choices affect the world. And so I wanted to share this story with you guys that I've heard before, and I just really love it. So starts with this. One day a man was walking along the beach when he noticed a boy picking something up and gently throwing it into the ocean. Approaching the boy, he asked, "What are you doing?" And the youth replied, "Throwing starfish back into the ocean. The surf is up and the tide is going out. If I don't throw them back, they'll die." "Son," the man said, "don't you realize there are miles and miles of beach and hundreds of starfish? You can't make a difference." After listening politely, the boy bent down, picked up another starfish, and threw it back into the surf. Then, smiling at the man, he said, "I made a difference for that one." And that's by Loren Eisley. I've just always loved that story. I think it just really ties in so beautifully with what we are talking about today, of how we can make a difference in the world. And just that young boy just seeing that his efforts do matter and make a difference is so cool to me.
Yeah, I like that. I think it really highlights so much of kind of what we want to talk about. We saw a post, some friends of ours, were down in Australia. Actually, they took a nice little vacation, kind of first of the year, and maybe a little extended. I don't remember the exact time frame, but I'm sure everyone's aware of kind of what's going on in Australia. Like basically, it's burning,
right?
And it pulls on heartstrings, and it pulls on emotions and thoughts and ideas. And he had this really nice post, and it kind of showed a lot of the beauty, and then it showed a lot of the tragedy that's going on there. And, just, do what you can, do something, if it's ride your bike to work, commute to work, or share a ride, reduce your meat consumption, recycle, all these things. Like the premise was do something.
Right.
And we would like to expand on that and give our version of it, and really kind of share what that means to us, and how we as individuals can impact the planet, really.
Yeah.
So basically, how do my singular choices or my actions impact the world, globally, humanity and all species, the planet, atmosphere, all that. How do my singular choices, little me right here, have such a global impact?
Right. Yeah. So what would you say are like some of the things that you do or are working on doing to try to make a difference?
Yeah. That's a good question. Like, I don't really want this topic to so much center around me and what we do. But I think that's a really good question, because it can just kind of get the ball rolling. And so me personally, recycling is a big thing for me. Just always doing it. Like we always have like a lot of recycling versus very little actual trash. And then I ride my bike quite a lot, commute as much as possible. Or walk places if I can. If something is within walking distance or riding distance, I'll try to do that versus drive. Just small things. If I can just cut out a little bit, so it's almost a fun little game. To see like how few miles can I put on my car. I know there are people that are way better at that than me, but it's just little things. And then another thing for me is obviously just food choices, and then food and clothing choices, things that I buy. So yes, I've kind of made that switch to get rid of meat, dairy, eggs, all that kind of stuff. Animal agriculture, basically. So went vegan. A lot of it was health and performance based personally at first. But then as I start to learn, and this is definitely not a like go vegan speech. This is just me personally and my, where I come from.
Yeah.
So, there's just so much impact that, animal agriculture is the number one contributor to greenhouse gas, even more than our transportation industry combined, all transportation, trains, planes, automobiles, everything. So me personally, if I can make that choice 3 days or 3 times a day on what I put in front of me, what I put in my mouth and on my plate, I can reduce that as much as possible. Same thing, buying leather versus something else. I think there's that argument of, what impacts the planet more, buying a belt or leather shoes versus maybe synthetics and stuff like that. But I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and those are some definite like changes that you've made over the last several years too.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't an overnight thing. It's just kind of what has evolved and developed, and just small things, like the settings that we wash our clothes on, or choosing to hang dry things versus, hang dry as much as possible versus using the dryer. So little things. I think overall they have a large impact on us financially, as well as, just the amount of energy that we use and stuff like that. So
yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, I think.
What about you? Do you have? Obviously, we're going to share a lot of those things. But is there anything that you have specifically that you kind of are conscious about doing in this regard?
I would say a lot of the same ones as you too. And then, like you said as well, like I'm just trying to be more conscious of even the clothing I'm wearing and just kind of finding out more about it. I know there's a place here that we love in St. Louis where they have different leather products, but we found out that they actually, ZB Market, they actually, like, the leather is from an animal that has passed away. Like, it wasn't killed for anything. You know, no hunting, anything like that was done to it. It just naturally died. And then they use that, they use the material from the animal for their leather products. So that was really neat for me to find out. I mean,
that was the thing, like leather, like, look, pre-vegan, post-vegan, like, I used to love my leather belt, my leather shoes, my leather wallets, and all these things. Like, I think the craftsmanship of that side was, I love skill and craftsmanship and stuff like that. Not that you can't get that through other things, but it really showed in, there's a big level of that there. So it's a neat way that you can still have that without, kind of
feeling like
contributing to
right
suffering.
Exactly. And I think another one too we've been doing is, like, you and I, especially with the move coming, I've just been, like, going through our closets and seeing, like, what we can donate, what we can, do without, because it's like, don't need all of these things. So really trying to, like, minimize some things in our lives too, which has not been the easiest, but working on it.
Yeah, definitely not living a quote unquote minimalist life by any stretch of the imagination. Nor do we want to. But we do like to take different components of that lifestyle and just say, how can we apply some of it to us? How can we be less wasteful? Or how about buy things maybe used or repurposed versus always new? I mean, yeah, of course we're going to go buy new things. But there's a lot of good second-hand stuff,
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, so I think just being smart with your money, being smart with your purchases, and how if you're just being conscious and aware how each purchase or action, even for that matter, like has a real impact, and just being aware of that, I think just the simple awareness of it kind of really can shape.
Goes far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think too, what's helped me is that you and I have been a little more conscious of watching different documentaries or different shows about animals and like things that kind of, I feel like, help me feel more connected and not so far away from like what's happening when perhaps I don't make the soundest decisions in what I'm doing, as far as just being like working towards more environmentally, being more environmentally friendly. So that has really helped too, because I think I used to just kind of like, oh, you don't see it, I don't hear about it, like what's happening to our solar system, to our environment. But it does seem to help, just kind of watching more of those different Animal Planet shows and just helping me to see the impact that I can or can't have on the environment too.
Oh, it's huge. I think one of the things that I really wanted to get into with you as well was, what about the person who doesn't want to go vegan? And I'm not saying do that. This is not a pitch. Definitely like to just share from where we're at and our perspective. Or what about the person who, they don't want to do that, or it doesn't fit their lifestyle or their family, or they live far from work and, riding a bicycle or public transportation is not an option. What are some of the other things that we mentioned? Maybe.
I think it's just like picking something that.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. To me, I'd say it's just like, you don't have to do, you just pick one thing and kind of make that your challenge. Maybe make that your family's challenge. Like, this week we're going to work on this. We're going to work on, like, taking our canvas bag to the grocery store rather than asking for paper or plastic or whatever. So I think it's just
so simple.
Yeah.
Like, they have those little bags, and you just, like, maybe bring a few of your own.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. It's that whole, what is it? KISS, keep it simple, silly.
Yeah. I know. It is kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say, like, that's not earth-shattering thing, but like
doesn't have to be though either.
But that's the one starfish,
exactly.
right? Isn't it?
Totally.
I mean, just to make that one choice, like if we look at that story, you know, like yes, you can't save them all. So why do anything? Or you know, so you can't really make a difference for all of them? No, but you made all of the difference for that one or two that you actually got back in.
Exactly.
The ocean.
Exactly. And that's huge because that one does matter.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Especially, I mean, think about it like this, you know, say you work in healthcare or something like that, you know, like, or it doesn't even have to be healthcare, you know, like you look at the homeless population or anything like that. So there's all these initiatives and there's all these different programs and different things to help out populations or
Right.
you know, there's always a cause, right? So if you have the ability to affect it or impact it in any regards, like, or if you don't have the ability to completely change it for everyone across the board, then you should do nothing. Or you could look at it like, why don't you give all of your effort to the one that you can, and then all of your effort to another one, you know, so you're making all of the difference to these individuals.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think can be very like eye-opening when we just look at it like that, I think. At least it has been for me. And just noticing I can do something and not just sit back.
I mean, what's it do for you personally? I mean, you're not, if we kind of look back at what we originally started with Australia being kind of the main topic and, you know, or the reason for the topic, you know, we don't live there. We're not experiencing any of the tragedy. We're not experiencing the smoke and any, you know, none of our property is damaged or at risk of damage. So, you know, what's it matter to us?
Excuse me. I'd say for one, it's, you know, just thinking about future generations, thinking about our children and our child rather.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa. Thinking about our child and just wanting just to make a difference, make an impact, do what I can do. And it makes me feel good to know I'm at least giving it concerted effort and not just complaining about everything, but actually doing something about it. So it just makes me feel more vested in the whole process of change.
Right. Let me ask you this, like kind of just, do you feel like it might be valid if someone were to say, well, you're a hypocrite, like, or if you don't ride your bike to work every day, then you're a hypocrite for trying to, you know, advocate for that. Or if you don't, fill in the blank, if you don't go all in on this one area that you said you're going to do or focus on, you know, then you're being hypocritical or you're not doing enough. It's that all or nothing.
Exactly. I was going to say it's that all or nothing thinking, which does not serve anybody in any way, shape, or form, no matter what you're trying to work on. Because I think if you approach life that way, it can feel very overwhelming, and then you're always condemning yourself for what you're not doing. At least for me, when I've thought like that in the past, because I have in the past thought all or nothing kind of thinking. I think it says more about that person than it does about me. If somebody's thinking that about me, then I think they have some things to maybe work through. So I'm sure there are people like that, I know, but I just have to be confident in what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think you said there are going to be people that are going to pick you apart. One, because it's an easy way to take the attention off of themselves and what they're doing or not doing, versus instead saying, well, look at them. They are advocating for this and they're not living it perfectly. Mm-hmm. Right? Exactly. Well, let's look at something like, you know, this whole vegan thing. What about the people who don't want to go? Like, how much of an impact, like, let's look at some of these other kind of initiatives or things that are in that limelight of like the whole animal agriculture and food industry. So if we look at like, say, vegan, plant-based, that's, you know, no processed anything. That way you're not dealing with any of the extra packaging and anything. You're just like produce all the way. Mm-hmm. And then you have the other side of it, who's just normal American standard diet kind of thing. how much of an impact is like different things like, I know we're here in January and there's a big thing that's been out for many years. It's Veganuary. So you go vegan for January.
Yeah, I love that.
I think it's a pretty cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
But in just terms of like what we're talking about, just doing something, what about Meatless Mondays or just something small, or even just like cutting out red meat on Mondays, or, whatever suits you in your lifestyle. I'm not saying adopt my lifestyle. This is just something that I found. It fits me. It ticks a lot of boxes for me as an athlete and just a person, and my mentality on where I want my health and my impact to the environment. So, but I think those are excellent places to start.
I do too. It's just, again, just doing something small. Just
something
start
like that. Like, if you think if 10 people did a Meatless Monday, that's potentially 30 meals, that you're reducing. And then if you, every time you grow something out, and it just gets so much bigger on the impact of it. And, it really can be very monumental. Really.
Yeah.
Is 30 meals a week going to decrease, the greenhouse gas production? I don't know, but definitely not a scientist in that regard. But I definitely think it's a good place to start. It can only grow from there.
Agreed.
Right? You might find that you like it, and you might want to do Monday and Tuesday, or 2 days a week, or or by sharing it with friends, it might grow to 100 people from 10.
That's very true. That's very true. Because I feel like, people are always watching you, people are watching, like I watch other people and see what they do, and so sometimes those things that you're doing to make a difference, it kind of just rubs off on other people, and before you know it, it just spreads like wildfire in a good way.
Yeah. I was going to say
a good wildfire.
But yeah, you can just see the impact of that. But just to kind of dote on you, and I don't want to kind of keep hounding on the food thing, but this is just something that you do and have lived your life. So you go to work, you're always eating, healthy food, and people ask you questions. You definitely don't like try to preach it or convince or, change people or turn people or anything. They come to you curious and ask questions. They see you're healthy and doing well, and they're, oh, what's that? And, he introduced one of your coworkers, or now our coworker, introduced himself, and he said, "Oh, you're Anina's husband." And he's like, "Oh man, she's so great. Like, she got me to change my diet, and look at this, and I've lost, what do you say, 50 pounds or something, and within 8 months, and he looked great, and he was vibrant and tons of energy."
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, he did it for health, but he's also positively impacting the environment.
Exactly. True.
So his choices may not be, his intention has more impact than what he thinks.
Yes.
His intention was for health and weight loss, but the impact of his choices are much farther reaching than just that. So
true. So true. Yeah, I love when things like that happen. It's really neat, no matter what it is.
I wrote something else down, and I kind of want to chat this, just here in this space where we have people that are going to listen and maybe hold us accountable to this. We wrote this down, and it's scary to me. It really is, about a way that we can kind of like be a little bit more, green or eco-friendly. And we got a baby coming.
Yeah.
Babies make a lot of mess. Diapers.
Dun, dun, dun.
What are we going to do?
Well, you and I have talked
because they go to the landfill, don't they? I don't. They're probably not that biodegradable. Maybe they are. I haven't really read the packaging, but like people just give them to you, right? Diaper.
Right. So you and I have been talking about using the ones we've been given.
Yes.
And then looking into the disposable or the reusable ones.
Yeah.
Yes. So we've been watching some YouTube videos.
Yeah. Like I remember it was like all the parents asked us, like, are you guys going to do the reusables or disposable diapers? And I'm like, the disposables. Like in my brain, granted, I know nothing about changing diapers. So yeah, so I'm a little clueless on this, but I was like, yeah, the only thing I could think of is these big, giant, like
big
square things you got to fold all up crazy and use these big, giant pins. And I'm like,
they've come a long way.
In my brain, I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Right, right.
That looks terrible. But then we kind of have learned a little bit more and investigated that space, and they actually look pretty.
They're like little
easy
styling little things.
Yeah, they're pretty
designs. Cool. But yeah, it looks like the ease of, I don't want to say the ease of them because I don't know yet, but it seemed like there was a lot of positive responses from the different YouTube videos we watched on it.
Yeah. Obviously they're cheaper in the long run. There is a little bit of investment up front but it's way cheaper than, always having to head to the store and grab another pack of diapers. And then there's the washing. So you are washing a little bit more. You're doing that. And then, you have the whole cleanup part of it. So I think what we have landed on where works the best in our minds is probably a nice meshing of the two.
Yeah.
Use the reusables kind of at home when it's a little bit more, ease, and you can be slower about it. And they really didn't look like it was too bad. But then the disposables when you're out, or if it's a daycare situation or whatever,
right.
So just be easy and don't beat yourself up and make things difficult, or they maybe will be a little bit easier. I don't know. So that's where we're at currently. Use what we have and really just try to like roll that into our daily baby practice.
Yeah. Should be interesting. It should be good. It didn't look as bad as you and I are both.
Yeah, there were we watched a lot of stuff on them, and there were definitely some diehard, reusable people out there. But then I think where we landed with a lot of the people that kind of resonate, that we're like, yeah, we're definitely on the same wavelength with a lot of things. Like they did both, and it just kind of like, yeah, that's what works for us.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to give it a shot, everyone. We'll have to keep you updated on how it goes.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
What about, so keeping on this track of like, what can we do? How can my actions, how can my choices have an impact? Now, the other post that this is from a professional cyclist, Australian, Lachlan Morton, excellent. I mean, you guys should follow him if you're not. Just puts out really good content. Just a cool, fun guy anyway. But, he's a professional cyclist. I don't know his income. It's probably decent, but I'm not going to say they're rich by any means. But he used his talents. So what did he do? He put a post out, and, Australia is in this emergency state,
Yeah.
So anyone, if you raise X amount of dollars, I will come ride with you, or you and your buddies, if whatever it is.
Cool is that?
And, he really didn't put a lot of like within a certain mileage, I'll travel so far. And he's like, and I was reading some of the comments, hey, is such and such so far, too far? Nope, I'll be there. And I don't know how far it was from him, but obviously it was decently far if they had to ask.
Right.
And he wasn't asking a lot. It was $500, which I thought, wow, maybe he'd ask more, but he's just like, we need to get the ball rolling. We need to do something.
Right.
And
so like raise $500 and I'll come ride with you.
Yeah. You donate $500 to Red Cross Australia, and he would go ride with them. So I thought that was awesome. He's like, he has a little bit of that celebrity status, probably a lot of it, in Australia land and amongst the cycling community. And he used his gifts, his talents, his abilities, and his clout, I guess, if you will, as to say, I'm doing something. I can give X amount of dollars myself, or I can raise quite a lot more over this month by doing what I do anyway.
Yeah.
And,
I love that.
Oh man, I thought that it was just something so simple. At first it was just like $500. It's like, but oh my gosh, like, if you do that,
yeah,
because he said he was going to do it for, I think it was like 35, 40 days or something, the time span that he gave. But I mean, man, and he's the kind of guy from the stuff that he's done and the abilities that he has, like he would ride every single day to do that. So, I mean, that's way more than probably he could donate himself.
That's amazing. I love people who can just think outside the box like that, and doesn't have to be so rigid of, well, I can't do anything or whatever. It's using what they have. And I'm curious to ask you, what would you say if that were you in this position and you were thinking about doing something like this? What would you say would be your gift or talent, ability you could bring to the table?
That's a good question, because then you get into these things of like imposter syndrome, or like, well, would anyone care to am I of that status to ride with or whatever? So I kind of just would look back and say I kind of did a little bit of that. Not for this, but for the Wounded Warrior Project, when I did the Katy Trail ride, I tried to do that for myself, and I tried to set some personal goals. But the biggest driving force was to do something very big, very scary, way outside of my comfort level, to raise money for something that was important to me. Wounded Warriors and our veterans. So. That's what I would do. Probably something along. I don't think anyone's going to pay to ride with me. I don't think so. I definitely don't carry the name or clout that like a professional would. So I would do something within my ability to. But that's big enough that people might want to get behind and donate. $50 here, $100 there. There was a lot of 10s, 20s, and 100s even. So, So I set a goal to hit a dollar amount, or I asked people to maybe donate $1 per mile. It was 242 miles.
That's right.
Some people donated that, or they just did a flat rate. But so I would probably do something in that regard again. I mean, I was pretty wrecked physically after it, but it was so rewarding, to look back and just to say, to be able to forward that money on to them.
Yeah,
it was
that is really cool.
What about that? You're not off the hook.
I know. I was like,
what
dang,
would
I
you
shouldn't
do?
have asked that question. Now I got to answer.
What would you do?
Oh, man. What came to my mind first was like, do a bake sale.
That's so easy. But it could be effective.
But I'm very good at making vegan Rice Krispie treats, as we found out yesterday. Because those are so hard,
we
right?
Ate an entire pan.
So maybe... it's kind of what did come to my mind first, is like doing some type of bake sale or something.
I mean, that kind of stuff is really effective. I mean, it can be.
And I like doing that, or doing something, maybe even something around coaching. I don't really know what that would look like, but kind of like trading my time for that, like funds.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of. I think anyone, everyone has a gift and a talent and ability. It's something that they normally get paid for. It's just kind of like, hey, why don't you just forward that on to such and such foundation or organization or whatever.
Yeah.
Or even something that you just like to do. You might not get paid for it, but you're just good at it,
I know.
Donate that.
Exactly. I know. I'm trying to think, what else am I good at? I'll have to really think about that.
Okay. You're good at a lot of things.
Well, thanks. But yeah, so you're right. So it is really neat to think about how like you said, we all have giftings and talents and abilities, and what could we do to make a difference like that too? So I'm going to keep thinking about that, and hopefully y'all out there will too, just to think, what kind of giftings and talents would you bring to the table if someone were to ask you to do that? It's a good question. I need some time to reflect on that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think, outside of that, like there's all these small things that we can do. And I just want to empower people to just be thoughtful in their everyday, just every single day. Light bulbs, trash recycling, commuting to work. Every single thing that you do has a bigger impact than just what you initially see. Like if you can just bring some awareness to your day, bring some awareness to your actions, and just think about like, what does this do globally? What does this do to, a lot of times if we take a look at like, how does this affect my pocketbook?
Mm-hmm.
That's generally, if you're going to get a reward from the pocketbook, you're generally going to do a good impact on, because it's like, what are we doing? We're spending money on, energy,
right,
gas, electric, stuff like that.
Very true.
If we can just be a little thoughtful in that, and maybe you do need a car, but let's look at what kind of car we drive,
Right.
Like I used to, when all the hybrids were first coming out, I hated those. They were always the ugliest cars, tiny little dinky things, and I was like, I don't want that. But now they have some really cool options, and there's we're just thoughtful and obviously make sure your needs are met, but be creative,
Yeah, and I think if you find something that you do, like, share it with other people too, because I've had different people tell me things they've done to just be more eco-friendly, and I'm like, never thought of that. Thanks for sharing that, So I think just sometimes bringing an awareness to something that you've done that you really like doing, that makes you feel good, to make a difference can be helpful too. So yeah, share.
Yeah, small things go a long way, especially if we can share them with others and get more people on board doing those small things. Small, like individually small, become very big.
Yes.
And impact globally, right? In a positive way. So, this may not be the longest podcast, and it might be something that you already do, or it might be something that you haven't really given a lot of thought to, and might spark some interest in and some awareness of how you can impact your community, your larger community, and then also globally. What about, there's so many places. I mean, we've kind of got on this little kick, mostly for Cooper, because he loves watching these like animal or planet kind of shows. He loves watching that kind of stuff. It's really funny to watch him. But,
it is.
They share about things of how rainforests have shrunk over time, and, the ice caps have shrunk over time, or the, how the deserts and the grasslands have all been impacted by us humans, right? Man, it's just
really puts things in perspective.
And at the rate, what's scary is, I understand, like, human society, we take up space, we do things, we need resources, and I'm definitely not anti any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's ways that we can do it that leave a smaller mark.
Yes.
Exactly. Because we do share this planet with way more creatures than just human, So every impact, and they all have the same need. They have needs, they have wants and abilities, and within this ecosystem, we also have needs that they meet in
so true.
A very roundabout way, but it's very true. So if we can just be thoughtful. So what I was kind of saying was the rate at which we are destroying, I don't want to say destroying, some of that's so harsh, but the rate of which the decline of all these things because of what society and humans do, the pollutions and resources that we're taking, and a lot of it's clearing forest land to raise cattle, to slaughter cattle, to feed humans when, there's a better workaround, and it's actually a healthier workaround. So maybe it's just enlightenment and just understanding and gaining knowledge on these things.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe that's not for you to go 100% that way, and that's fine. Please hear me. Like, that's not what I'm trying to get out of this, but like just to bring that kind of awareness of how can I reduce my negative impact on the planet.
Yeah, exactly. Just one thing at a time. Just like when you're working towards goals, just one thing at a time, like not to overwhelm yourself. I think is key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I feel good. I'm glad we got to talk about this today. I feel like it was something really important, and it was just helpful just to kind of hear some of your ideas and just to have this platform to share today too. So
yeah, thank you. Thank you for having this conversation with me, and thank you for all the wonderful insights that you brought. Thank you also for reading that story about the starfish. That was an amazing story, and it inspires me to be like the boy and not the father.
Yeah.
Or, have that beginner's mindset, that youth mindset of just like, yeah, I understand. I cannot save all of them, but I made all of the difference for the 1, 2, 3 that I did save.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I want to bring that into my daily practice, the way I treat others, to have that, like, I'm being present. Be present with the people you're with and the things that you do and the impact that you have. Like, you have the ability to impact, think about it in an energy standpoint of like, you can bring joy, gratitude, happiness, into your conversations and make people feel more excited and enlightened and happy.
It's so true. So many ways.
Small things.
So true. You were right. It's a good point. Even in those areas, it makes an impact on the environment when we're spreading our love and joy to other people too.
Totally.
Yeah.
This was good.
Yeah.
It was definitely kind of not a normal conversation and not a normal topic for us, but I think it was it's relevant, it's important, it's something that
on our heart.
we need to be very thoughtful and mindful of. And we might not have the biggest platform, but we just kind of wanted to share our hearts and what's on our mind about this. So thank you all for sticking with us, and we are excited to continue the conversation on our Facebook page. Let us know what you do. Let us know if you learned anything new. Mm-hmm. And what are the small steps, big steps? What are the big platforms that you champion and want to get behind? If it's impacting, anyway, we're really excited to kind of see what it is that's on your heart. So, and again, thank you and welcome all the new listeners and subscribers. We're excited to hear from you. Please, rate, review the show on whatever platform that you are listening on. It does us a world of good of kind of getting us some more attention and rising up through, being discoverable really on those platforms. So thank you, everybody. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Sound Mind Strategies. And then you can follow us personally. I am at Evan_Blankenship.
And Nina_Renee.
Awesome. And then you can email us through the website, or you can get a hold of us through social media. That's probably the easiest way, really. Like, we're always checking that. I think that pretty much covers everything. So everyone, in your next week, don't forget to go forward in power,
love,
and a sound mind.
Bye, everyone. Have a great week.
Peace.